All right, welcome back to the Net to Net podcast. This is a live reaction right after today's games. We'll probably do a more in-depth episode either tomorrow or Friday, previewing both Copa finals and Euro finals. And today we ended up finishing off the semifinals tonight for the Copa America versus Uruguay versus Colombia, two heavyweights, and it was a game and a half. Like it was very good end to end, fouls, tackles, goals, drama, suspense, everything you had in a game that we could have asked for, and we got it in the semifinals. And we're talking about, and kind of highlight it. It was a fast paced game. Uruguay had two chances early on in the first half, very early in the game from Darwin Nunez of Liverpool. Everybody knows he's a great scorer for Uruguay, but he always has that. Can he finish? Can he finish his chances when he gets those chances? I believe he had 4 shots in the first half. 5 shots in the first half alone from Uruguay. Only 2 on target. Struggle to find the net. Don't finish their chances correctly. And then the man gets a corner kick. The man, the myth, the legend, James Rodriguez for Colombia, goes out there in swinger to Jefferson Lerma's head on the back post. 1-0 Colombia. Intentions are high, pretty much running through the entire game, and then we see a kind of a bad tackle by Muñez from Colombia. Daniel Muñez, who comes into the back of, I believe it was Araujo, Maximilian Araujo on the wing. Comes in from behind, gets his first yellow, and then probably like right before half, Muñez gets kind of in the talks with Emmanuel Ugarte from PSG, and kind of just elbows him right in the chest, straight. Honestly, if he didn't have a second yellow, that's a straight red. Come on. That's just a bonehead mistake from Colombia. We saw that a bonehead mistake from the U.S. team, Timothy Weah, earlier in the year in the Copa America group stage match against Panama. So this is just another bonehead mistake. And then Nesto Lorenzo had to adapt. And when you can bring on a quality right back in Santiago Arias, you're kind of set. You have that depth, you have that team. And then throughout the game in the second half, Rios goes down for Colombia, and call's not stopped. They're not stopping play. Ricardo is down in the corner flag, doesn't get a call. Ref says play on. He's holding his knee down. Yes, he's probably faking it. We don't know if he's actually injured or not. He looks in pain, but he could be acting. They are winning, and they're a man down. It's time wasting pretty much throughout the entire game. If you're Colombian, then that's the tactics in soccer. Find your advantage. Find the dark arts, as they call it. They do that. He goes down. They call out the stretcher finally. They weren't going to play it. James runs up to the ref, starts yelling at him, gets a card. So now he's on a card, because if he gets a card, he's suspended for the final. So now he has to be careful. Rios comes out. He comes back in after the stretcher. He gets stretchered off. He stands right back up. He tries to walk it off. Comes back on the field, runs, and then goes down again. They call it the stretcher right away. They come get him. He's out for the game. My thing with that is, it doesn't, yes, the ref has the call to make that call to bring out the stretcher. He wasn't even signaling to the sidelines that they needed the stretcher out there the first time, and it took so long. So now everybody's kind of just standing there. Are they actually going to play? Now they're just looking around. My thing is with that is, yes, he could be fake. Yes, you don't know if the player's faking it. You don't know if the player's okay. Yes, he's out in the corner. Does it really matter if the game's still being played? Yes, it still matters just because you don't want an injury happening. And if you make that wrong call, it's a slippery slope. And you can make that wrong decision. And that could hurt you as a referee in the long run. That could hurt the game. And there could be consequences. So you have to be careful. I would say you have to be careful in making that decision if you're a referee at any point. Yes, Rios runs all the way. He runs all the way over the Rios in the corner, talks to him, and then signals for play on, which made no sense because you didn't call the stretcher. You didn't get him out there, which made no sense. Give props to, but that's all I gotta say on that call. But throughout the game, it was a great call. Like I said, Hamas gets a yellow card, gets his first. If he gets another one, he's suspended, or he could be suspended for the finals. And I give props to Nesto Lorenzo subbing out your captain, subbing out the man that just got his 6 assists in Copa America. That's more than any other player in this tournament right now. One of the most ever. I believe the cap was 5 assists most ever, and I believe that was Messi. I forget which. I forget what Copa it was. I want to say I think it was 20. Was it 20? I can't remember off the top of my head. But Messi, I believe, was the top assister for most assists in one Copa America. James breaks it tonight off a corner kick. Colombia's going to be dangerous in front of set pieces. You have that James Rodriguez of Colombia, when he puts on this badge and this jersey, he knows it's game time. Who cares about what he's done for Sao Paulo, what he's done for club level? When he plays for Colombia, he's a different player. And then we talk about just a bend don't break mentality for the Colombians. You go down a man, you bring on Arias. Cuesta and Sanchez had a great game. Mojica played a great game. Lerma played a great game. You play Luis Diaz up there with Cordoba for a little bit. They play amazing. They're playing playing backs to goal, holding up play for them to get out of there. And then when you can bring on a 6'5" huge center back in Yuri Mina can just hold out the game. That's great for Colombia. Then we see Suarez, the all-time leading Uruguayan scorer on the field. That's the 68 goals. Who was one of the best strikers of this generation. One of the best Uruguayan, probably the best Uruguayan ever to play for Uruguay. Him and Cavani and Florian led that generation upcoming, and then they took over for Florian. I think pretty much, honestly, once Bentancur went down in injury, they struggled. They struggled a lot in that midfield. They definitely missed Nandez, who was suspended from earlier. And we saw Bielsa go with the 3-4-3. He had to change formations due to injuries, due to suspensions, and I think, and like they said on the call, he had to have a backup plan. I don't think he honestly didn't have that backup plan, because once Bentancur went down, they went back into a 4-3-3, which they've been playing all along, or a 4-2-3-1, depending on how you look at it. They struggled. Uruguay did not have a great first half. They kind of turned it on in the second half once they knew they had more energy. They brought on more attacking players. They still have Palistra out there, Ariola, Araujo, bringing on Suarez, bringing on Artesta, Christian Oliveira. And it did suck that they did not have Ronaldo Araujo from Barcelona, who went down with an injury at the in the first half against Brazil in the quarterfinals. Which it was a great game all along. We saw it, and then at the end of the game, there was fights and on this, and of course Luis Suarez was in the middle of it, and he started it, and then there was scenes of Uruguayan players going up into the stands, which and fighting with fans, which we don't ever really want to see, because there could be injury, there could be whatever. But all in all, this game was insane. This is one of probably my favorite games to watch, other than the Colombia-Brazil game. I thought this game gave you everything. Now we look to see Argentina versus Uruguay. What a match. Not Uruguay and Argentina. Argentina and Colombia. That's going to be a great game down in Miami. James Rodriguez versus Lionel Messi. We saw Messi get his first goal yesterday, kind of like a deflection tap in. He's struggled this tournament due to injury, and just when he played, he hasn't looked great. Neither has Argentina. Argentina looked a little bit better against Canada, but they struggled against Ecuador going all the way to penalties. So it'll be an interesting game, especially coming with Colombia on a hot streak. They've 28 unbeaten now. Just broke the record at 20. They were tied at 27, and they just broke it today, which was insane. And then, so that's going to be a great game. That's going to be at the 8 o'clock game on Sunday. And at the 2 o'clock game, you have England versus Spain for the Euro finals. We saw Spain win yesterday against Germany. Great game. We saw the youngest player ever to score in Lamine Yamal. And then today we had England versus Netherlands, which controversy, there was a lot of calls that weren't called for the Netherlands. A lot of them saying afterwards the ref was man of the match, which I can see totally. That was just this. There's a lot of missed calls in this game, which should have been calls. Don't know what. There was a lot of missed calls. There was an offsides call for that was actually called back, which was or wasn't called back. I don't know. This game was just on and off. They at least called it offsides. They got that call right, but there was a lot of missed calls, a little blown calls from the referees, which you hate to see it in the game because it did hinder the Netherlands from having chances. But kudos to England. They found it out in the 90th minute from Ollie Watkins. That was a big move from Southgate, subbing off Harry Kane for Ollie Watkins, and it paid off. Now you're in a final. For me personally, I'm going to go. I think Spain's going to win. I want Jude Bellingham to win, but I don't think he will. So I'm going with Spain. England always bottles it at the end. And then for South America, for Copa America, Colombia, I'm hoping they pull it off in Miami and beat Argentina. But yeah, just there's a lot to unpack from today. I definitely want to hear what the boys got to say. Hopefully we can get something out Tuesday or tomorrow or Friday. But I just want to get my thoughts out a little bit quickly. Talk about talk about the Colombia Uruguay game. This was one of the best games I've ever seen. One of the best games I've watched in Copa this year. Probably I'd say one of the best even between both Copa and the Euros. But it was great play. Colombia showed their fight. You saw if you guys were watching the passion, the emotion that we saw from players. We saw Luis Diaz consoling Darwin Nunez. That relationship there between Liverpool players is just great. It's what soccer is. It's the passion. It's what we live for. If you're a soccer player, you live, half love, breathe soccer, and that's what these podcasts are for. And just to get out information, get out fun stuff that we love talking about. And this was great. This game really showed it. You see two powerhouses in the world. Colombia at 14 or at 11, and you see Uruguay at 14, ranked in the world. You got England, who's ranked pretty high. You got, I believe, in the top 5, and you got the Dutch in the top 10. These are powerhouse teams. These are must games watch. These are why these teams are in these situations, because of big time players step up in big time games. We saw James Rodriguez step up today. We saw Lamine Yamal, who's at 16 years old, in school still, and playing in a major tournament at the age of 16. Big players step up when they needed to, and they get the results. And this game was a great. So yeah, and then the biggest news of the day we saw right before the Colombia Uruguay game, and definitely gonna want to hear the boys' reaction to this because you kind of just heard mine really for the last couple times. But the U.S. half sack Greg Berhalter, he took over in 2019. He's been here for 5 years. He got us out of dark days of not qualifying for the World Cup in 2018, gets us qualified for 2022, gets us to the knockout stage. We congratulate him. We thank him for getting us out of there. But actually, in hindsight, what has he really done for us? He made us top dogs in CONCACAF, but the competition does not compare to when we got to go up against the Combo Bowls and the Europeans and the AFCON teams of the world. And I believe his record is like 5-8-7 against top 20 teams. So that is not great. But for me, my points. I want someone that's has European or South American history and coaching, someone that's experienced in big teams and winning trophies and knows how to work their way out of major tournaments or has success winning. And right now, there's a lot of candidates. I know everybody's saying, "Hey, let's go get Jurgen Klopp." Oh, he teased us in this. He said, "Happy 4th of July." I would love Jurgen Klopp. Let's be real. I would love how much I don't like Liverpool, and as a Chelsea fan, I I would love Klopp. He would be great for us. He's charismatic. He's big named. He knows how to manage big players. Same with like Pep and Jose, but I don't think that will happen. I know the person I would say is probably our favorite that I really like is Steve Cherundolo. And you already know the spiel. He represented the U.S. at 3 World Cups. He's played for the U.S. national team. He knows the system. He knows the thing, kind of the area, knows how it works. He would be great choice. He's won trophies at LAFC, MLS Cup. He's got taken LAFC to the CONCACAF Champions League final. He's been to an MLS Cup, 2 MLS Cups. So he has the winning mentality, which might be good for us. But can he manage those big stars? And then going to the player side, yes, Greg didn't do a great job at progressing this team forward, but it's also on the players because the players look comfortable. The players look like they didn't look great. And in talking to like Brett and talking to Caleb and Casey and them, we're talking about like we were talking about taking out Weston McKennie from the lineup because he hasn't looked great. And I think that's just because players were standstill and players were comfortable with who the coach was and they knew they had a starting spot. I think it's time to bring in someone that we can start developing these players, start building our talent pool out bigger, and bringing in players that can make an impact, that can push our starters. Someone that be like, oh, Weston needs to be on this game because now we have, for example, Yunus Musa, who's on the bench, who probably should have been playing the last couple games, or bringing in like a Lucas Del Toro or a Jamie Cardoza. And we have these young guys, a lot of these dual national guys coming up through the ranks that could play for us, could play for Mexico, could play for Argentina, could play for Paraguay. I know, and we're gonna develop. We're gonna watch a lot of this talent develop over the next few years into the 2026 World Cup. We got the Olympics coming up, which the Olympics team was announced, which I hope to dive into that in a little bit on the next episode or two. But like the likes of Diego Luna didn't even make the Olympics team, and he is on fire in the MLS. We have Rostas Pustas playing over in Croatia. We have the up and coming Aiden Morris and up and coming like Calvin Sullivan, players like that are young, and hopefully we can bring in someone that is familiar with the U.S. system or someone that's familiar with the international level, because I think that's where we're lacking in bringing coaches. Like I said, I would love a Jurgen Klopp, but I don't think it would happen. Steve Cherundolo, a Jim Curtin, or someone with manager pedigree that can manage big egos. I know there's the likes of Thierry Henry has said he would be interested. Patrick Vieira, who's coached in the U.S. And I think that's another selling point that I didn't even mention the last time. A lot of these players and coaches, when they come coach in the U.S. or play in the U.S., they love the lifestyle. And I think, I forget who said it, but they hit it on the nail perfectly. In the world outside the U.S., soccer or football is the number one sport, the number one drive in any country. It's their main thing. Here we have football, baseball, basketball, soccer, NASCAR, whatever. It's not the main thing. So you're coming here. They don't have to worry about going. They can go out. They can enjoy the lifestyle that the U.S. provides because they're not the main focus that they would be in Germany, in Spain, in Portugal, in England, especially with the England media. You're going to get away from that. So I think that's a big selling point as well as with this golden generation. Yes, I could see this might be the most talented, skill wise team in the U.S., but is it the same as our older team? Is Pulisic better than Donovan? Is Dempsey better than Balogun? Is Balogun better than Dempsey? Is McKinney or Adams better than Bradley and Claudio Reyna? I would honestly say no. I would say this might be collectively the best team together, skilled wise. But back then we had more individual talent. Yes, they weren't playing at that at the European level like these guys are here. But then you can make the same argument as yes, they're at the European stage, European competition in the Champions League, La Liga, and Premier League, but they're not actually playing significant amount of minutes as well as these guys like the Donovans and the Dempseys and the Howards and the Bradleys of the world. We're getting a lot of game time, but playing in against lesser competition, but they were still playing regular in and out, regular minute starters, which kind of helped. We got to the same. We both got knocked out in the round of 16. So did it really help? Is there a chance, honestly, we go with a former coach that used to coach us? A Jurgen Klinsmann or a Bob Bradley? Maybe. I don't know. But we have to figure this out. And I mentioned this earlier. We're not playing significant tournaments. The Copa America was our biggest competition lead up to the World Cup because we're not going to play anything. We're going to play meaningless, friendly games. That's not going to mean anything. We could lose every single friendly we play because we're not playing in the qualifier because we're hosting it. Same with Mexico, same with Canada. We saw Canada and Jesse Marsch. What Jesse Marsch took over, he's been with the team for 3 weeks and got them to a semifinal of Copa America. Jesse Marsch would have been my first choice as the U.S. coach when we got rid of Berhalter the first time. And he probably would have been my first choice now if he was available, but he's not. So now Matt Crocker and the Federation have to adjust. Now, the summer is all about adjusting and all about development and all about adapting. If you're the U.S. national team or if you're any club or any team, because the transfer windows in the club level, especially adapting because you're in the transfer window and you can time to upgrade your team. Now I get to walk with the summer soccer winding down. Now I get to kind of focus back on the club level, and me and Kirsch and Casey can focus on what our teams are doing, like Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, Barcelona. It'll be interesting to see, but summer soccer, it's winding down. I can't wait to jump on another pod with the boys. This was just a quick spiel for 20 minutes about it. I just want to get my thoughts out, especially about the U.S. men's coach. Definitely, probably won't get a recap of the Team USA game tonight just because they play at 10:30. So I wouldn't be recording until probably like 1 a.m. So definitely tomorrow I will do a recap of the men's U.S. team going into the Olympics. I'm going to talk to Kirsch and Casey, see if we can do something tomorrow, get our previews for Copa and the Euro finals more in depth, maybe talk about the Olympics, and then see where we're at in the State of the Union with the U.S. If not, I'll definitely try to get something out myself on Thursday or Friday if they can't do it. Love the guys to have them on. I know Sunday we'll probably do something big. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick one. Just kind of unwinding to the night with both Euros and Copas semifinals being done today. And then we look to the future with the Euros and Copa finals on Sunday with the third place games on Saturday, which just whoever gets third place, I'm not that interested. Yeah, well, I'm interested a little bit. I think Uruguay will get third, and I think honestly, I think Germany will probably get third in their thing. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I will definitely hope to see if we can get another one soon out. But peace. See you guys soon.